So as we prepare for our Lunch and Learn Travel Edition, I want to welcome all of you to the line. Thank you for taking time out. Today's topic is going to be choosing travel clients. Now, I want you to be aware that when it comes to choosing travel clients, this is an active process. So let me give my disclaimer up front. This training is conducted from the perspective of helping you, the professional travel agent, earn commission and meet or exceed your travel goals. It will require that you change your mindset about being a professional travel agent and not just someone who books travel. So let's get started. Professional travel agents and business owners are in business to make money. Time is money, so how we use our time in dealing with clients is going to be crucial. You must place a value on your time. You have to take an active, not passive position in your interactions with clients. Lastly, on this point, leaders take the oversight. So you govern how your business transactions go, not the client. Now with this, I want to stop for a second because often when we're first getting started in business, we're just excited to have anybody book something with us. It doesn't matter who they are. And we're so excited and we want to impress them. So we're going all over the river and through the woods, giving them 25 quotes and all sorts of things just to try and win that first client. But what we're going to look at today is qualifying your clients, answering the question of any client versus the right client, goal setting and meeting your goals, and marketing to the client that you want. So let's talk about qualifying clients. If you've gone through your back office, there's a video back there that talks about qualifying clients and things of that nature. But there's some key questions you want to make sure that you get into the habit of asking. You want to ask the right questions so you're not wasting your time. Often the person that reaches out to you isn't the decision maker. So you can be giving all sorts of great information to that person and then trusting them to pass it on to the actual decision maker. So you want to make sure that you're communicating with the decision maker because you want to save your time and not have to repeat yourself. You also don't want it to lose something in the translation. You want to know things like budget, past travel tendencies. If it's someone who has traveled in the past and you find out where they've stayed and you realize that they're accustomed to staying at 3-star accommodations and now they're asking you about a 5-star trip, you're going to have to do some adjustment in how you deal with them or else they're going to have sticker shock. You want to ask the right questions. You want to make sure that they're prepared to make the necessary deposit or pay the appropriate amount that needs to be paid for the trip. So you want to ask those questions and take the lead in that, not be afraid to get the information you need before you start searching for a trip. Next, you want to know, are you ready to book within the next 48 hours or are you just looking for ideas? Because often people reach out to you, and especially those people who know you, just to try and get you to search stuff for them. And because we mentioned when we started, we are in the business of making money. It's not necessarily profitable for you to just go searching a bunch of random quotes for someone if they're not serious. So you want to ask them, have you done any research on this trip? Because if you are secretly trying to meet or beat some price that they didn't tell you about up front, then that transaction is already getting started off on the wrong foot. So you want to talk to them, find out, have you done any research on this trip? Has anyone else quoted you on this trip? Because again, you want to take the lead in this transaction with your client. Then the question of a booking fee or research fee, many agents charge one, many agents don't. But when you're considering the value of your time and whether or not the clients that you're dealing with are serious, you may want to give serious consideration to a research fee or booking fee. Because often if people aren't serious and you mention that there's a fee up front, they will remove themselves from the transaction and you can save yourself from doing a whole bunch of quotes for someone who's not really serious at all. But again, that decision about a fee is a personal decision, and you got to look at your business makeup, how you want to run your business, and also be very honest with the value of your time. That's going to be a reoccurring theme as we go through these slides, but you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that and know, is this particular trip quote, is this particular client interaction going to be worth it? Now, you don't want to come off as desperate. Now, when it's your very first client, you may really be excited and desperate for that first client, but you don't want to give that off to them. You want them to realize that you're a professional at what you do. You want them to understand that you're busy and you're not just sitting there with nothing to do other than just their one quote. So we want to look at this. Are you waiting for inquiries to come to you, or do you solicit clients? Often when we're first getting started, it's kind of overwhelming with all the training and things of that nature. So you just hope, if I do this one magic post, people will come. And there's no such thing as a magic post that you can put up that will suddenly draw clients, but you want to make sure that you are in fact soliciting clients. That can happen in a lot of different ways. When you're talking to people and you're telling them about your business, you want to also add in that extra line to tell them to tell their friends. I often tell people when I do business cards for them, when you give someone your business card, give them two, because not only do they need your information, but they know someone who wants to travel, and you want them to give your card to someone else. And you want to say that to them. I'm sure you have friends who like to travel like you do. I would appreciate it if you share my information with them. Now, you want to do this with people that are the type of people you want to do business with. You are interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. Now, if it's someone who doesn't seem like they're responsible in business, they might not make their payments on time, or they might end up canceling the trip or not booking. So you want to pay attention to those signs when you're dealing with people. So some people are friends, acquaintances, or referrals from friends or acquaintances. Some people may be completely strangers or cold calls that may have seen your post or flyer somewhere, but you want to take that time during that qualification process to really figure out, is this the right client for me? Now, again, I'm going to be delicate and yet I'm being direct. You want to realize that sometimes the people that know you the most or have known you the longest will not take you as serious. And so they're thinking, oh, I remember you when you were growing up. I used to change your diapers, or whatever they may be thinking. And so they don't want to handle it like a business transaction. So you want to make sure when you're choosing clients that you're paying attention to people that are serious. When you're qualifying them with those questions, you want to get a feel for, are they really ready to travel? Are they ready to book a trip? Are they ready to book the type of trip that you sell? Again, often people have been surfing the internet. If you've put it out there like you're the bargain basement, super cheap travel person, they're going to come to you wanting the cheapest price that will also have the cheapest commission. Now, we're going to talk about goals a little bit later, but just understand that if you make it a point of booking super, super cheap trips, you are going to have super, super low commission. So it's not necessarily for people who have full-time jobs, families, and a lot of responsibilities and a little bit of time to work on your travel business. For you, you're going to want to make sure you maximize that time and use it working to build trips for people that are going to be serious clients, repeat clients, and people who are also going to actually follow through with the trip. Not just anybody, but the right somebody. So you're interviewing them. And it's nothing wrong with deciding, once you gather that information up front, that perhaps you're not the right person to book that trip for them. Now, that's a hard one that a lot of people aren't ready for. Now, for me personally, now this again, my disclaimer, this is me personally. I do not like to book trips for people who want to stay at like your Airbnbs. They want to do vacation rentals, because in that, it's not profitable for me, doing a return on investment analysis, for me to book a trip with 20 people staying in a house that is not commissionable, because they're probably not going to want to pay me the fee that I want to have for doing it, because I still have to do that. Because if they want a flight and they want a vacation home, I'm not getting commission on the flight. I'm not getting commission on the vacation home. And if I have to do the type of fee that I want for doing a trip for 20 people, then maybe that's not the right trip for me to book. So when people approach me and they want a vacation rental, I generally don't take those, just because as a personal preference for me, there's not enough commission in it. And unless they're the kind of client that I think is going to come back to me for something else and something profitable, I will just direct them otherwise. Or I'll tell them I can book your flights for you, and there is a $25 booking fee per person. Now, again, that's a tough realization, but each person has to make a decision about your business and what does work well for your time. So again, when you're booking travel, finding the right client and the right trip, you are interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. So again, you're paying attention to those clues when you're talking to them. Do they appear to be serious about the trip, or are they trying to treat you as their personal Google, which you are not their personal Google? Do you want to work with experienced travelers, or are you willing to work with brand new travelers? So again, I'm talking about time. When you're working with experienced travelers, they will often come to you. They know where they want to go, when they want to go, how they want to get there, and they're ready to move on with the transaction. It can go by pretty quickly. When you're working with brand new travelers, they may not understand, so you have to be prepared to invest more time educating them about what they're going to need. So when you're considering your time, you've got to understand that it's not fair for you to book a new client if you're not willing, a new traveler rather, for you to book them if you're not willing to also invest the amount of time it takes to educate them. Then you also want to look at, can they afford your services? So I have a little picture here of champagne and beer because there's a saying about people having champagne taste and a beer budget. You want to make sure that there's a realistic ability to pay for the kind of trip they're asking you to research. Because it's one thing for someone to call you and give you an elaborate set of things that they want for a trip, but if they're not realistically able to afford that, you need to kind of understand that before you waste your time and waste their time and you keep going back and forth, that it might be better to ask a few additional questions up front about budget or about past travel tendencies. Let me give you an example. I have a particular client, they are high-end travelers. They're used to traveling places that have butler service. They want first-class flights and things of that nature. That is how they travel. So when they ask me for something, I understand that given they're not wanting me to give them any quote with a coach plane ticket in it, period. They don't want me to put them at a day's end. So for them, I understand based on questions I've already asked, if I'm booking them, there's certain things I absolutely need to book. But for someone who is trying to get the absolute cheapest trip possible, I've got to look at it from a totally different perspective. And when you're choosing clients, for me, I have shifted over the course of my travel business to seeking out a different type of clientele than when I first started. Simply because I value my time differently, and I realize that it's going to take me the same amount of effort to book a trip that earns me $100 in commission, $500 in commission, over $1,000 in commission. Exact same amount of time. So I have goals, and so I started choosing differently. But again, Disney is one of the areas that this last point really hones in, because quite often parents and families want to go to Disney because they want to impress their children. Again, I gave my disclaimer up front. I'm going to be really raw and basic with you. Often with Disney trips and first-time Disney travelers, they have no idea what the price structure is at Disney. So they will tell you, we want to go to Disney, we want to stay on property, we want to go for 5 days, we want a multiple park, and they'll say all of that. But when you quote exactly what they said, that price may give them sticker shock, because basically if they've only gone to local amusement parks, they're not anticipating that a Disney ticket or a multi-park Disney ticket is going to be more than $100 per person per day. So again, when you're looking at flight costs, accommodations, ticket prices, and things like that, it's good for you to understand the nature of the kind of travel your clients are asking you for. So you can kind of do the math in your head and have a general idea while you're talking to them. So you can make sure that you understand and you both are on the same page. Let's keep going. Now let's talk about goal setting and meeting your goals. 1, do you have a monthly or quarterly or annually financial goal for your business? You are a business owner, and so you should have a goal. If you're booking travel, is there a certain amount that you need to be bringing in per month in order for it to make your business worthwhile for you? Is it a certain amount you want to make per quarter or per year? Or do you have a goal that's based around booking a certain number of trips or booking certain types of trips? Do you want to do 2 group cruises a year? Do you want to do, I don't know. Each business has its own idea, but you need to know what that is about your business. For people who are looking at this travel business as a means to provide steady income coming in, you also need to understand our compensation structure. Travel commissions pay out after the trip has taken place. So you've got to get in it long enough and book trips at dates that make sense for that. So I'm going to show you something on our next slide to kind of help visualize that. But you want to understand, if you're setting a monthly goal where you want to make $500 a month, that means, 1, that you've got to have somebody somewhere traveling every month of the year, so that eventually, once that travel starts taking place, you start receiving commission 4 to 6 weeks or so after that. So when you're first getting started, if you got an immediate need for money, you've got to understand what type of travel you need to be booking in order to get it. Traditional travel, again, doesn't pay out until after the actual travel occurs. So if you're booking a trip right now, it's September, and you're booking a trip for someone in January, you may not get that commission, depending on when it is, until February or March. So between now and then, it's just the happy waiting game, but you want to understand that. So when you're setting your goals, that's realistic. So you may need to do some instant commission bookings. You may need to charge some booking fees and things of that nature, so you get money more immediately, and then you'll get payout as trips occur. So you want to start by knowing, what is my realistic goal? What do I want to make per month or per quarter or per year out of my travel business? In doing that, you want to also understand travel commission. And again, I'm going to point some things out on the next slide, but you want to understand, what is the percentage of commission for the type of travel that you're booking. Some vendors have higher commission than others. Some vendors will allow you to add into the commission. So you want to understand that when you're choosing vendors and when you're considering the type of travel that you want to book. Then next, you want to ask yourself, what am I doing daily or weekly to meet that goal? Am I making sure that every week I'm announcing something travel related, or that I'm asking for travel business every day or every week? Or when I talk with people, am I regularly soliciting business? Because I'm a business owner, I'm in business to make money. The way I make money is by booking travel. So I need to be talking about booking travel on a regular basis. So the next point I'm going to ask is, are you keeping track of your progress towards your goal? This was the one thing that helped me get to my IATAN status faster than anything else. Because when I first started, I was just booking travel, and it was just theoretical. It was exciting. I know they're going to travel. I'm going to start getting commission eventually. Yay, I'm excited. But when I was listening to people talk about what it took to become an IATAN card holder, I didn't know where I was with respect to that. So I created a spreadsheet similar to this little picture you have here on the screen, and I'm actually going to make these note slides available to you after the call. But Once I put it down in black and white, I learned a lot about my travel business, and then I changed how I began booking business. So I want you to take a look at this little graph here, because I changed the family names into just colors for clients to protect people, but I want to share some very real things with you. I want you to see that I booked a trip for the White family, and the total cost of the trip was $1,870. The commission that paid out on that particular trip was $181.26, and the amount that I received was $145. Simple trip. I want you to look at the Green family, line number 3. They booked a Carnival trip. The total cost for the trip was $5,553.50. The commission payout was $339. The amount that came to me was $271.20. Want you to consider the difference here. Now, I'm going to be a little more transparent. The Green family was part of my family. They booked up 4 to a room and everything else. So even though there were a lot of people physically that went on that trip, as you can see, the bottom line cost for the trip was not really expensive on that particular cruise. The commission payout to me was not high. I didn't mind as much because, again, it was my personal family. I wanted them to have a good time. But I got $271. It was a group cruise. It was very time intensive. I had a lot of work that I did for them, and I did not get a really high return on that because they had inexpensive cabins on a short-term cruise. And so it was a personal choice that I made, again, because those were my family. But I want you to understand that, because often people go into things and they're not realistic. Group cruises are most profitable when you have 2 people per cabin and when people do upgraded cabins. If you do balconies and suites, if you do the interior cabins and the lesser priced ocean view cabins, you're going to get less commission. It's not a problem, but it's just something you need to understand. So that way, if you're booking those type of cabins that are going to have a low amount of commission per cabin, then you either need to book more cabins or know that this is just a trip I'm doing because I want to do it for the people that are going. Next, I want you to look at the Blue family. They booked a hotel room. It was $274.42 for one night. The commission was $50. I got $40 back on it. So that particular hotel room, I booked it with a vendor that I was able to adjust the commission price on. So I got more for that one night of hotel than I might have on a different one. Because if you look down at the Red family, when they stayed at the Embassy Suites, it was $151. The commission was $14. I got $13.37. Same, kind of deal. So you want to just pay attention to how much commission is being offered on the things that you're booking. And know that if on average it's in the neighborhood of maybe 10% that will be paid back to Archer Travel, and then you're going to get 80% of that, you want to make that math work in your mind. Because as you can see in this particular example, there were 8 trips booked for a total of $10,600 plus dollars. 780 some odd dollars in commission was paid out. 629 of it went to me. So I want you to just note that, because when you're booking travel and you can look at it in black and white, it really will help you reach your goals. Because when I saw this, it really made me get the push on toward my IATAN, because my IATAN, again, the goal was $5,000 within a 12-month period. I wasn't really meeting it at that point. So I made some quick adjustments. I'm a woman of faith. I started praying and put my faith out there in a different way. And I started booking higher commission paying travel for me so I could reach my goal within a year. But you need to book it so that you can see where you are, and then also know when commission's coming in, because I note the travel dates, because when I know when the travel is going to occur, that will help me gauge approximately when the payout is going to take place. So this is a good tool to help you in setting goals and to help you in meeting your goals, because you want to make sure that you're paying attention to when the payouts will occur. That way you can know when to basically expect travel commissions to show up within a window, because you never know exactly when the vendor is going to send it, but it gives you a general idea of when it's going to come in. Next, let's talk about marketing to the client that you want. You want to post things about the type of travel you want to book. So if you are a cruise specialist, then you want to post about cruises. If there's a particular cruise line that you're a specialist in or that you prefer to book with, then you want to book their kinds of deals. When you register with them, you'll often get them by email. I have noted here following them on social media where you can copy their promotions, but you want to put that out there for the type of travel you want to book. If you want to book river cruises, then post about river cruises. If you want to book all-inclusives, post about all-inclusives. If you want to do destination weddings, then you need to be posting things about destination weddings and about weddings and posting it around those seasons when that's what people want to do. So you want to identify who is the target audience for the specific types of travel and then place your marketing in front of them. If you're talking about groups, you want to either see if you can join groups that they have on social media or attend events that those groups have where you can network with them and talk to them about travel. Things like class reunions, sorority and fraternity groups that have anniversaries coming up. All of these are good groups, family reunion options. So as you're talking to people, you want to see if there's a thing. Maybe it's an affinity group. They're golfers and they want to go on a trip and go golfing somewhere. So maybe you want to be in a group where you're networking with the golfers and you can talk to them about putting a trip together for them. You want to talk to key people. Have those people help you with marketing your business. Ask them to share your information either on their social media page or with their people when they're talking. Different locations. Again, you want to put your business cards at places. If it's a bridal salon that has one of those little counters where different things are there, maybe talk with the owners about putting your flyer or putting your business card in the bridal salon if you do destination weddings. You want to go to the barbershop, go to the beauty salon, different places where you see them sharing advertising for other businesses, and put your information there if those are the type of clientele that you want to have book with you. So I already noted there, follow the vendors on social media. I copied this because sometimes people don't know how to do that. You want to go to their page and click like, and it'll say like and follow, and then their information will start showing up in your timeline. When their information shows up in your timeline, you can do it one of two ways depending on the ad. You can either click on the picture and right click and save the image and then upload it on your page with your own kind of message, or you can share their post if it's something, that may be interesting. So sometimes there'll be videos that I'll share from different vendors if they've got a really nice promo video about their product. But you also want to make sure that you're putting some messaging there to actually ask for the business. Because when you're marketing to the clients that you want, you don't want to just throw a random flyer up there without giving a call to action. You want to say something like, book with me now. Call me for a quote. Let's get you started. You want to add those thoughts in so that you're marketing. So while we're talking about that, I did some screenshots of some different posts that I made, and I want to show them to you and point out just a couple things about them. So this one here on the left, I said, has the change of seasons caused you to want a change of scenery? Let's book a quick getaway for you. There are lots of last-minute deals available for resorts, cruises, your choice. How about celebrating the holidays on the beach? Why did I choose this particular type of promotion? Because when I looked at my little chart there, I saw some gaps in the last quarter of this year. So I wanted to start booking trips for September, October, November, and December. So I'm specifically talking about, do you want to book for the holiday? Do you want to do a last minute deal? Do you want a quick getaway? Because I wanted to target people who are going to be traveling within the next 90, 120 days or so. So I specifically said that. But when I made that post, guess what the very next call I got from someone? The very next tag I got from someone? It was someone who wanted to travel in October. They've known they wanted to travel in October. They never reached out to me. They saw this where I started talking about last minute, call me for a last minute, and they called me and said, hey, I need to travel the first week in October. Can you help me? But you want to be intentional about marketing to the client that you want. So here I expanded it a little bit because Carnival posted this nice little thing that says, trust me, I'm a travel agent. All you need is a cruise. I thought it was a cute little idea. I copied their photo. I put it in my post and I said, let's book your last minute getaway or your 2019 or 2020 cruise. I do individual and group cruise bookings. I put that out there because, again, I wanted people to know not only am I doing last minute, but I am also booking as far out as 2020. You want to tell people. They won't know automatically because, again, you want to create that business funnel where people are coming to you and they're thinking about you for travel. So the interesting thing at this point, when I talk about marketing to the client you want, I took a time where on a particular, for me, I tend to post more about travel on Tuesday and Thursday because it starts with T and it just helps me remember, did you post about travel this week? So Tuesdays and Thursdays, my personal thing. But for you, you pick which day of the week. It can be any day. It can be every day. Just make sure that you're being consistent with it. So I took a particular day and I am a cruise specialist and I'm completed training with multiple vendors. So I took a particular day and I made a post about each of the cruise vendors that I booked through. So I did Carnival, I did Royal Caribbean, I did Princess, I did Norwegian, I did Silver Sea. I did back-to-back posts on all of the different types of cruise companies that I book with. Guess what the next 3 calls I got? That's right. They wanted to book cruises. So you want to market to the client you want. So if you like booking cruises, then you want to be consistent in posting cruise specials or the ideas of the types of cruises that are available. If you want to do all-inclusives, then you want to post about all-inclusive. If you want high-end clients, 5-star clients, you want butler service clients, then you want to do that kind of post. Because as I mentioned previously with that little chart, when I saw how far away I was from my $5,000 mark back at that point, that was in April, I said, I've got to get there. And I set my goal that I had to get there by October because it was a 12-month window and I wanted to take advantage of 12 months of commission. I said, you know what? I need to book a couple high-end trips. So I started posting about sandals. They're a 5-star Caribbean all-inclusive resort. I did that. I booked about it. And guess what? I got a call from someone who said, well, we want to go for our anniversary, but we were thinking it might be too late to plan it. I said, no, it's not too late to plan it. Let's talk. We planned their trip in April. They traveled in July. That single trip, I made $1,500 on commission on that single trip because they were high-end clients and they wanted high-end things. Now, I learned from that booking. So now I approach high-end clients a little bit differently because they wanted to have a helicopter ride and several other things. So with that particular booking, it added commission easily because the things they wanted were more expensive. But as you're booking, you want to market to the client you want. So let's look here. This is a different approach too. This first one to your left was about the Norwegian breakaway moving to New Orleans. I lived in Mississippi for 15 years. So I have a very large following of people that are in that area. And for them, in talking to them about booking travel, they, don't necessarily want to have to travel really far in order to do something. They want to do something. but they didn't necessarily want to have to fly to Miami to do something. So when I started talking to them about cruising out of New Orleans, initially it was more of a limited options because I was looking at them booking Carnival. But then guess what? Norwegian sent this information out to me that they've got this new ship moving there to New Orleans. So what did I do? I did a specific post about this new ship coming to New Orleans because I know that I've got a high percentage of followers on my timeline that are there in the South within a driving distance of New Orleans that might be interested in booking something like this. And they don't know because this ship hasn't even made it there yet. It's going to be coming in November. So I put this information out there and I said, let's do a group trip. Let's do a family reunion. I'm targeting a specific group of people. I didn't name them by name, but I did tag a few people in the post later on. But you want to ask for what you want. Now, here, this next one where I said, Jamaica, anyone? Let's book it today. I live physically in Detroit, Michigan. So I also have a circle of people that are here in Detroit. So I posted this particular trip that's from Detroit that is talking about trips that are happening now as well as trips for 2019. Again, you want to market to the particular clients that you want. You can control that somewhat. Now, granted, I will book for anyone. Doesn't have to just be a cruise client because I booked about a cruise. But what I'm saying is you want to be intentional in your marketing efforts to drive business to you. Because what this also does is the people that are not booking with you yet, but are watching you, it plants it in the back of their mind what to have people call you for. Because another portion of my business comes from referrals. So quite often on Facebook, I'll get a little notification where I've been tagged in someone else's post because they were talking to their circle of friends saying, hey, I want to take a trip. I want to take a cruise. I want to go to Jamaica or whatever. And someone who knows me and has seen this thought of me and tagged me in that post. So what do I do then? I go and message that person immediately with some specific information about how I can help them with whatever it was that they said. Then I go back to their physical post and say, check your message, thank you for the referral, and things of that nature. But again, when you're marketing, you want to help people refer you. You're giving those people who haven't even booked with you the opportunity to refer you. I've got people who have referred me multiple times that have never booked anything with me at all. I appreciate them. I really do, because some of those leads turn out to be really great. But again, it's a numbers game. So what you've got to consider is because it's a numbers game, you've got to book enough travel to generate the kind of commission that makes it work for you. So again, whether that is a trip that's going to give you $10 in commission, $100 in commission, or $1,000 in commission, that's up to you. All of those are valuable trips. All of them add to the bottom line. It just means that if you have a particular goal, that you may have to do 10 times as many $10 trips to get that $100 in commission. So when you're booking travel and you want to be serious about choosing clients, you want to understand that numbers game. It is not a problem for you to book travel that has lower commission as long as you are prepared to book a lot more of it and do it more frequently. So if you're looking to just book a couple trips a year, then that's fine if they meet the goal that you set for yourself. And you have to determine what that is. Do you want your business to pay for itself through travel? Do you want to make a certain amount of money that you can put aside? Do you want to be able to do specific things that cost a certain amount of money? Do you need to offset your income on a regular basis? All of this is going to be important when it comes to choosing your travel clients. Because again, as I mentioned, you can book a $100 trip. You can also book a $1,000 trip. You can book 10 $100 trips or one $1,000 trip. It's totally up to you based on the amount of time you have available. So I mentioned just a moment ago also paying attention to the payout structure. I'm going to go back really quickly to this chart where I noted travel dates because I needed to know when the travel was going to occur so I could realistically know when travel was going to happen. So if you're looking at the travel you book and you put it in a chart form where you can look at all of it together, that will help you set realistic goals. Because again, if you have a goal for monthly income, you're going to have to make sure that you have someone traveling every month and that you have that happening in such a way that 4 to 6 weeks after that travel occurs, the payout will happen. So with that, you've got to pay attention to it and make sure that your travel booking meets your travel goals, your travel commission payout goals, and our travel commission structure. That's a really big one. And I wanted to go back to that chart just to say it's a real simple thing. Just go in Excel and put your information down. Now with our new system, you can actually go into your evotravelagent.com website and look at your submitted travel as well as what's paid out. And you can get all of this information right from there. Now, whenever I do it, I open up my spreadsheet and I put it right in right when I submit the travel. That way I have an ongoing running list that I can sort by date or whatever I need to do and pay attention to what's happening, know when to expect payout on things, know which vendors pay quick, know which vendors take a little longer to pay so that you can gauge what you want to do. This information I hope will be really helpful because again, you don't want to necessarily just say, whosoever will, let them come and book travel. You have to be intentional and go after the business. Not be afraid to ask for the sale. For people who say, well, I'm not a salesperson, yes, travel sells itself, but whether or not it's going to sell itself through your business or through some online vendor is going to really depend upon how you communicate with those travel clients. Let them know, I want to book your business. Help them understand why booking with you is better than booking somewhere else. That's why those qualifying questions matter. Because I had someone who told me up front they had asked another travel agent for a quote already. So I asked them, well, why are you asking me? Now that might be shocking. Maybe that would never cross your mind to ask, but I needed to know what was wrong with the quote that other agent gave them that made you still keep looking and ask me. So also I needed to know, are you expecting better service? Are you expecting a lower price? What is it? Why are you coming to me? Let me know. I was able to educate them a little bit better, help them find a vacation that would realistically fit what they needed. I could talk to them because I met them. I knew what their family situation was. I met them at an event several months before, and they reached out to someone because I told them I was a travel agent. I would like to book travel. They put us back together. I know that it's a couple with 3 small children. So the type of trip that they were pricing was more expensive than they realistically could afford. But I could talk to them about traveling with small children and giving them the type of trip recommendation that would not only meet their budget, but would also work for them functionally because they had never traveled with their children before. I happen to know firsthand about traveling with little kids because I've done it. So I could talk to them about the type of flights that they were going to need, the type of trip that they would need so that they would have things that the kids that were their children's age would enjoy, but that the trip would still allow them some relaxation, some time with the kids having a good time, and everyone would enjoy the vacation without it breaking the bank. Why did they want to book with me instead of the other travel agent? The other travel agent just gave them a quote. I gave them some realistic firsthand information. I talked to them about things they hadn't considered, such as traveling through the airport with small children, taking direct flights versus taking connecting flights, and all of that. Because again, I know what their family structure was. Part of that qualifying process is to know and understand that kind of stuff. If you've ever tried to do that with small children, you know a direct flight is a better idea. It might be a little more expensive, but it's worth it in the end. So again, what service do you provide? What value do you place on your time? And then are you ready to make sure that you ask for the sale? So that's my presentation, today's Lunch and Learn on choosing travel clients. At this point, I am going to open up the chat box for questions and allow you to ask your questions so that we can answer them. This recording will actually be posted on all of our Facebook group pages on my webpage so that you are able to refer back to it as well as a copy of the slides.